is still with us. And Orlando, you played with Carson Wentz. Is it fair to bench him now?
Oh, I'm so tired of talking about this guy. Sure. I mean, they're bad. You don't have a choice at this point, but Doug knows he's on borrowed time. So, Howie, you wanted to draft this guy? You want to draft him? Let's play him. Let's see. There's a reason why he didn't play. I think Jalen's going to, be a great player in this league, but at the end of the day, you have to build an offense around him to make him successful. If you even go all the way back to Alabama changed their whole style of play when Jalen Hurts was in there and when Tua was in there. They went from a power running team to spreading it out a little bit to more of a quarterback run team. You got 4 games left. I don't think that's possible. The Eagles got problems all over the board. Doug's on borrowed time. Why not? It can't hurt.
So real quick before Shannon goes, are you saying that Doug Peterson made this move out of spite? Like he's saying, okay, Howie, I'll give you what you want, albeit against the New Orleans Saints, the best defense in pro football lately?
In that organization, it's Jeffrey Lurie and Howie. There's really no space in between them. Howie's the football guy. Jeffrey Lurie's the owner. Jeffrey Lurie survived the Andy Reid era. I'm sorry. Let me correct my words. Howie Roseman survived the Andy Reid era. Chip Kelly gets hired. He gets moved over to the football side. He's still in Jeffrey Lurie's ear. Chip Kelly gets fired. He becomes GM. He pulls one out the hat. They put some good players around. They get some great free agent acquisitions. They won a Super Bowl, and here they are now. They're struggling. They're going down a one-way road to nowhere. And now you drafted this quarterback in the second round, and your franchise guy's struggling. So Doug's like, I'm on borrowed time. I might as well put him. At the end of the day, you guys are stuck with Carson. You married to him anyways. You got to pay him $25 million next year. And then in the offseason, another, I want to say $10 million becomes a guarantee for the following year. So to me, this makes no sense.
Well, I understand it. I think they're in an impossible situation for all the reasons that you said, because I believe the team has lost confidence in Carson Wentz. Wentz has definitely lost confidence in himself. And he says he needs a spark. You need a 5-alarm fire. Because what you are deficient at, the offensive line, the skill positions, I don't see a scenario. Even the greats, Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, would struggle playing behind that offensive line and that lack of talent at the skill position. Now, I think we can agree on that, is that they are deficient on the offensive side of the football. You can't allow your quarterback to get his hit as many times. Now, I'm not saying Wentz is without fault, because he is totally without fault, because there have been a lot of times he's had guys open and he's missed them, and that's on him. All I'm saying is that when you take as many hits as he's taken, when you're devoid of talent at the skill positions like they are, this is what happens. I don't know. I can see if Wentz was struggling and they had 2017 roster. I could get it then. You can say, well, look, we got weapons, but you're going to take a quarterback that's really not proficient at throwing the football, and you're going to give him no weapons and an offensive line. Now, maybe he can get out of some of the way of that oncoming rush from the defense, but I just don't see how this works. But let me tell you what happens. When you make a move like this, a quarterback that's this long in his career, this far along in his career, I don't see how you come back to him with that head coach. I told Skip in the beginning, I believe one of those guys are gone. Wentz or Peterson, and I believe it's Peterson.
Dougie P got one foot out the door. And the thing about it, the whole thing about it is, where he deserves some blame, as I do blame the Cowboys coaches, they've made some very, very, very weird decisions in the draft. I don't know why you draft Jalen Reagor, who's a primary punt returner, over Jefferson. I don't know why you go out when you know you can add pieces to your defense, you can add pieces to your offense. I don't know why you go out and draft a quarterback unless you don't have faith in your guy. And then, to go forward, you start this big dispute with your tight end, your Pro Bowl tight end. You let it get leaked to the media that him and the GM had a verbal altercation about his contract, and then he gets this injury. He gets an ankle injury that holds him out for 6 weeks. And Zach is a tough guy, so you can only hope that maybe he really was hurt, but in hindsight, he wasn't. He was spiting Howie Roseman. Like, I'm going to take my time coming back.
Okay, I'm going to rise above all this, and I'm going to say what I've said from the start. I've never been sold on Carson Wentz as a franchise quarterback. I am sold on Jalen Hurts. The day he was drafted, I went on social on that Saturday. He will ultimately be better than Carson Wentz. He's a better natural-born leader than Carson. I know you're around Carson a little bit because you played for a while in Philadelphia. But Jalen Hurts is a playmaker, and he will make you miss. He can run the football. He's deceptively quick and fast and strong, but he can throw it too. He threw 32 touchdown passes for Oklahoma last year and ran for 20. That's a lot of performance. That's a lot of output, and that's what you'll.
I don't want to cut you off, but Jalen Hurts ain't playing against Texas Tech.
No, I got it. I got it. The point is,
ain't no Texas A&Ms.
Okay, here's the problem, and that's why I suspect maybe even potential sabotage here. He is getting thrown into the hottest fire maybe any rookie starting quarterback has ever been thrown into in his first start, because this just isn't fair. New Orleans is playing at a supremely hot and high level right now on defense. They've allowed the fewest yards in the National Football League in over the last 4 weeks. They're tied for first in sacks because they tormented Tom Brady in his own stadium, and they have just finished tormenting Matt Ryan, the former MVP, twice. They took him all apart, and now you're throwing this kid into that fire, albeit at home. It's close to being unfair, but I still say he will perform better than Carson Wentz would be able to perform going forward, because where I do agree with Shannon, the team has lost all faith in Carson, and he's lost a lot of faith in himself.
But I think that you're confusing better with worth a damn. You know, and the coach always told me that. He said, don't confuse okay with worth a, bad word. I'm not going to use that.
Yep.
But the team has problems all over the board. They don't run the ball. They're not committed to run the ball. And if you even go back to last year, they fired the offensive coordinator. Doug was calling the plays the whole time. And then miraculously, Doug gets this pressure, and it's like, oh, I haven't been calling 2 minutes. Oh, I haven't been calling this. And now somebody else is calling the plays. It's the blame game all over the board. And like I said, Doug's on borrowed time. How he's going to make it, probably. He's not going to get fired. I doubt it. Doug's going to get fired. They're going to start over, and they're going to have to, Howie's going to have to try and mend his relationship with Carson, or he's going to have to trade him. And it's going to create a very, very uncomfortable situation if Jalen does perform decent these last 4 weeks.
Okay,
because
so
now you're going to have a quarterback that you're going to be paying $25 million to sit on the bench.
Okay,
and once everybody realizes you don't want them, and Shannon would agree, when you realize somebody don't want something, I ain't going to give you nothing in a trade. You can send him on over here, pay half his salary, and I'll give you a 7th
so
round
here's your final question. Wrap it up for us with this. Which team is in worse shape, Dallas or Philadelphia?
Philadelphia. They're old on defense. They're very old on defense. You went and gave $39 million to a defensive tackle, Hargrave. A lot of y'all don't even know who he is. He don't even fit their scheme. But what is going to be their scheme next year? Their best players on defense is Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. They're both over 30. They don't have any linebackers. Darius Slay, who's been a great player in this league for a long time, you went and pay him top dollar. He's only getting, Father Time is undefeated. He's not going to get any better. He's not going to get any better at this point in your career. You don't have another corner. Your safeties, Rodney McLeod is older. Jalen Mills is, he's okay, but what do you pay him in free agency? And then on offense, that offensive line, outside of Lane Johnson, who's going to be coming off an injury, Kelsey's old. Brooks is going to be coming off of his second season in the injury. And then, you kind of in flux. And then Miles Sanders, who's a great player, he's been hanging out with Zeke a little bit. He can't hold on to the ball.
Well, so you do realize that the Cowboys' offensive line is old too, and although their Cowboys' defense is younger, they're terrible.
Yeah, but they don't have an offensive lineman that's the quality of Zach Martin.
No, but he's getting old, and guess where he's at? Injured. Where's Ty Smith?
Zach Martin, he's not even 30.
But
he is 30. He just turned 30.
He turned 30, but he got a lot. He got a lot of wear and tear on those treads.
Yeah,
they've been banging heads. They've been running the ball for a minute.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But when you look at it, the receiving core, they're being able to separate Dallas better.
Yeah.
Running back better.
At least
quarterback.
At least Philly got an excuse. We can say we old. Y'all young and sorry.
No laughing over there. No laughing. Orlando, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. We will check in very soon. Next up, guys, LeBron only has 4 titles, but he claims he's won the 2 hardest finals in history. We'll tell you what he had to say exactly. What are you doing over there?
That's the foes.